Oh my god, this just happened. This literally just went down and nobody's talking about it yet, but trust me, they're about to be. Adam Pearce completely lost it. I'm talking about a full, unhinged meltdown that caught everyone, and I mean everyone, completely off guard. We're talking about WWE's Executive Vice President of Talent Relations absolutely snapping in front of the entire locker room, screaming at Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed with a level of rage that you almost never see from someone in his position. And what triggered this explosion? Roman Reigns being brutally attacked in Paris. This is not a scripted storyline moment. This is a man at his absolute breaking point, and what he said is going to shake the entire WWE ecosystem to its core. If you're not already watching, stop what you're doing right now and hit play, because this moment changes everything. Please, I'm begging you, like this video immediately, because YouTube needs to see this, and then share it with everyone you know. This is the kind of story that gets buried, and we cannot let that happen. Subscribe right now if you haven't already, because we're about to expose what really went down behind the scenes at the most chaotic moment WWE has experienced in years. This started with chaos in Paris. Roman Reigns was brutally attacked, and I mean attacked with a ferocity that left people questioning whether this was even real or if we were watching a work unfold before our eyes. The footage that came out was absolutely devastating. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the man who's been carrying WWE on his back for years, was left battered and broken in one of the most shocking incidents the company has ever experienced. And when that footage hit social media, when WWE officials saw what had happened, the entire company went into absolute panic mode. Because Roman Reigns isn't just another wrestler. Roman Reigns is the biggest draw WWE has. He's the cornerstone of the entire operation. And somebody, somewhere, had failed to protect him. That's when Adam Pearce entered the picture, and that's when everything exploded. Adam Pearce is supposed to be the voice of reason. He's supposed to be the professional administrator who handles situations with calm and composure. He's supposed to be the bridge between management and talent. But what happened next shattered that image completely. When Adam Pearce got the full report of what happened to Roman Reigns, when he realized the extent of the damage, when he understood the implications of this attack, something inside him just snapped. And it snapped directed right at Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. Now, here's where this gets interesting and absolutely infuriating at the same time. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed have been positioning themselves as the new powerhouses in WWE. They've been making waves. They've been getting stronger. They've been getting more confident. And in the chaos and uncertainty surrounding Roman Reigns' attack, there were whispers, rumblings that maybe, just maybe, they had something to do with it, or at the very least, that they knew something about it. Whether those whispers have any basis in reality or not doesn't even matter at this point, because Adam Pearce clearly believed them, or at least he was angry enough to act like he believed them. What happened next was absolutely brutal. Adam Pearce walked into a room, and reports suggest this was in front of multiple locker room members, and he completely unloaded on both Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. We're talking about a tirade that lasted for minutes. We're talking about screaming. We're talking about accusations. We're talking about veins bulging out of his neck as he absolutely tore into both men with a fury that suggested this wasn't just about the Roman Reigns attack. This was about months of frustration. This was about years of handling situations. This was about a man who has had enough. According to multiple sources who were present, Adam Pearce was shouting things like, "You think this is a game? You think you can operate in the shadows while one of our biggest stars gets destroyed? This company gave you everything, and this is how you repay it?" He was pointing fingers. He was making accusations. He was questioning their loyalty, their integrity, and their involvement in what happened to Roman Reigns. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, two men who have made their careers on being physically intimidating and hard to back down, stood there relatively silent during this onslaught. And that silence says everything. Because when two aggressive, dominant personalities choose not to fight back verbally against someone screaming in their face, it means they either know something they shouldn't, or they're absolutely terrified of the consequences of pushing back. What makes this situation even more explosive is the political angle. Adam Pearce isn't just some mid-level manager. He's an executive vice president. He has real power. He has real authority. He can affect people's careers, their booking, their opportunities. And when someone with that kind of power completely loses their composure on you in front of witnesses, that's not just an argument. That's a threat. That's a wake-up call. That's a message that says, your days of doing whatever you want are over. The timing of this breakdown is also absolutely crucial here. Roman Reigns was attacked in Paris, which means this happened internationally, which means this happened in a place where WWE's security infrastructure is clearly much weaker than it should be. The company is already under fire for not protecting one of its top talents, and now there's an executive having a complete meltdown because he doesn't know who's responsible and he doesn't know how to fix it. That's panic. That's desperation. That's a company that's spiraling. I need to be really clear about something here. The implications of what Adam Pearce was saying are absolutely staggering. If there's even a shred of truth to any of this, if there's any possibility that Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed had something to do with Roman Reigns' attack or know who did, we're talking about a level of chaos and conspiracy within WWE that would make this the biggest story in professional wrestling in an entire generation. We're talking about potential criminal activity. We're talking about conspiracy. We're talking about the complete breakdown of professional order within one of the largest entertainment companies in the world. Now, some people are going to tell you this is just a work. This is just a storyline. WWE is building a narrative. And to those people, I have to ask, even if that's true, doesn't that bother you? Doesn't that concern you? Because whether this is real or whether this is part of a storyline, the fact remains that Adam Pearce losing his composure like this, the fact that he's being positioned as this desperate, panicked authority figure, the fact that Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed are being portrayed as possible conspirators or at least people who know something, all of that points to a much bigger story that's about to unfold. And if it is a work, then WWE is absolutely genius at this level of storytelling because they've got the entire internet convinced that something genuinely dangerous is happening. What really gets under my skin about this whole situation is how WWE's management has completely failed in their responsibilities. They failed to protect Roman Reigns in Paris. They failed to have adequate security. They failed to have contingency plans. They failed to immediately identify who was responsible for the attack. And now, they're so desperate for answers that they're publicly accusing their own talent of potential involvement without any concrete evidence. That's not professional management. That's panic-driven chaos. And let's talk about Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed for a second. Whatever their involvement or non-involvement in this situation might be, the way Adam Pearce went after them is absolutely unacceptable from a management perspective. You don't publicly humiliate your talent like that, even if you suspect them of wrongdoing. You don't subject them to that kind of verbal assault in front of witnesses. You do that privately. You handle it through proper channels. You investigate before you accuse. But Adam Pearce threw all of that out the window, which tells me he's absolutely at his wit's end. The wrestling community is absolutely divided on what this means going forward. Some people think this is the beginning of a massive storyline involving Roman Reigns, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Adam Pearce. Some people think WWE is working through some legitimate internal issues by playing them out on air. And some people think this is something that went too far off script and WWE is now scrambling to regain control of the narrative. Whatever the truth is, one thing is absolutely clear: professional wrestling will never be the same after this moment. What troubles me most about this entire situation is what it says about the culture within WWE right now. If this is real, it shows a company that's completely out of control, where security failures happen, where executives have meltdowns, where young talent might be involved in conspiracy and violence. If this is a work, it shows a company that's willing to blur the lines between reality and fiction in ways that could potentially harm real people's careers and reputations. Neither scenario is acceptable. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed deserve answers about why they were singled out. They deserve to know whether this is part of a storyline or whether real accusations are being leveled at them. Roman Reigns deserves an explanation for how security failed so catastrophically. And Adam Pearce deserves to understand that publicly losing control doesn't solve problems, it creates them. Here's what I think happens next. I think WWE is going to try to control this narrative. They're going to release statements. They're going to try to spin this as part of the on-screen product. They're going to try to bury this story and move forward. But they can't. This is too big. This is too explosive. And the only way this gets resolved is through absolute transparency about what really happened in Paris, who was responsible for attacking Roman Reigns, and what Adam Pearce really knows about the involvement of Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. This is the moment where wrestling stops being about entertainment and starts being about real consequences. This is the moment where we all have to ask ourselves whether we're willing to support an industry that operates with this level of chaos and disregard for basic professionalism. And this is the moment where we need to stand together as a community and demand answers. I need you to engage with this video right now. Comment down below and tell me what you think happened in that room. Tell me whether you believe Adam Pearce had legitimate reasons to snap or whether this was completely unwarranted. Share this video with everyone you know because this story needs to be heard far and wide. And please, subscribe to Ring Rumble because we're going to be following this situation incredibly closely, and you absolutely cannot miss the updates as they come in. We're going to get to the bottom of what really happened. We're going to expose the truth. And we're not going to let WWE bury this story. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.